Mr. Simons, I'd like to talk to you a little bit about your place of business.
Okay.
Now, you don't have any fences around your property, do you?
No,
You don't display a no trespassing sign anywhere on your property?
not that I'm aware of.
The parking lot lights on your property, they stay on at night, don't they?
I believe so.
In your store hours, those aren't displayed on your building, are they?
I mean, we must have a sign somewhere that says that we're closed at 10.
In 2015, you began to run some promotions, isn't that true?
Yes,
You tried sales, isn't that right?
that's correct.
Discount clubs
Yes.
and advertising, isn't that true?
Well, we always do advertising.
Specifically in 2015, you were trying some new things though, isn't that right?
Well, we tried a number of things, yes.
All right, and none of these were working for you.
Well, one of them did, yes.
The Chase advertisement, correct?
That's right.
Before that, none of these promotions, these ads were working for you.
No, and some things work, some things don't.
Okay. And now to that Chase point that you made, you're a video game fan, isn't that right?
I am?
And you were aware of the game Chase
Yes,
and you were aware of the growing popularity of the game at the time.
I was.
And you saw an opportunity with Chase to increase the volume of customers at your store, isn't that right?
Yes, there was a Chase place outside of my store.
Yes, and the popularity of this game to you meant an opportunity to advertise it so that you could get more people at your store. Would you say that's fair?
I don't know if that's fair, but no, I don't know about that.
You indicated that there was a Chase place located on your property, isn't that right?
Mm-hmm.
So you turned your place, Scooters, into a Chase place, isn't that right?
At that time, I had not turned it into a Chase place, though.
But once you realized that your place was a Chase place, you ultimately began advertising that your ice cream parlor was a Chase place, correct?
I did.
And you did this to get more people at your ice cream shop, isn't that right?
I did it as a promotion. The hope was that there'd be more people.
Your Honor, may I approach? Showing the witness exhibit C. Mr. Simon, I'm handing you two ads, or the one ad that you advertised at your store. You advertised these flyers, isn't that true?
I mean, these weren't mailers, no.
But you posted them around your place of business at the
Yes,
actual
there were
property?
signs at my store, yes.
So if I were to go to your ice cream parlor at the time, I would be able to see those hanging up on the walls.
I suppose.
Okay. And on that ad, if you could hold that up so the jury can see it. On these ads, you indicate that there are Chase-em monsters at your store, isn't that right?
It says, need chase some monsters, we got 'em.
And then it says that Scooters is a Chase place, isn't that true?
That's right.
Okay. And once you started showing these advertisements, you saw influx in business.
We did have more customers.
Okay. And it was your decision to put this ad up.
Yes.
No one else's?
I mean, my wife might have consulted.
Your store closes at 10 p.m., correct?
Yes.
And nowhere on those advertisements do you indicate that closing time. Isn't that right?
No, I don't.
There's nothing on those advertisements about trespassing?
No.
And you don't have control of the game when it's being played, correct?
No, I don't have any control over the game.
The owners of Chase-em control the game, correct?
That's right.
So you can't turn the game off when your store closes, isn't that right?
No, I can't.
Okay. Mr. Simon, let's now talk to you about the maintenance of your property.
Pardon?
Now, as stated, you knew that Chase-em was a popular game when you started advertising, correct?
Yes.
And when you started advertising, more people came to your store, isn't that right?
Right?
And the profits went up.
Yes.
And You have certain responsibilities as a owner of a business, isn't that right?
I don't know what you mean by that.
Owners, as a property owner, you have to ensure the safety of your place of business, isn't that right?
I suppose, I mean, I have to protect against slip and falls and things like that, yeah.
And you would agree that the more people that come, the larger a chance of risk, or the larger a chance of an incident would increase, correct?
I don't know, I'm not a scientist.
Yeah. You installed cameras at your property, isn't that right?
I did,
You installed cameras inside
yes,
and outside?
that's correct.
Your Honor, permission to set up a demonstrative?
Right?
That's good.
Maybe not so obvious, but the intention is good.
Hey, Jack.
Mr. Simon, this is a diagram of your property, is it not?
Yep,
Okay. And as I said, you had some lights installed, some cameras, I apologize.
that's right,
And you said you had some cameras on the inside,
yep,
and this is the inside of the building, correct?
right,
And then on the outside, you had 2 cameras, am I right?
that's correct,
Installed at this corner
right,
and then at this corner.
that's correct,
And these 2 cameras directly pointed into the parking lot,
that's
like
right,
that, correct?
right,
So they didn't have a lens out the backs, correct?
that's right.
Okay. So if I were to be standing, say right here, the lens of these cameras wouldn't be able to see me as I stand right there. Would you say that's accurate?
I mean, you can, there's a little remote control that you can turn the camera, so I suppose you could always, if you really wanted to, you could turn it to go look in that direction.
However, at 11 p.m. on June 6th, 2015, the store was closed, correct?
That's right,
So nobody could control these cameras, isn't that right?
I
As you
suppose,
just stated?
yeah.
Okay. And these cameras, the night of June 6th, 2015, they weren't working, were they?
they, were not recording, no,
Okay. But they were still there on display?
yes,
Now, Mr. Simon, you also have lights on in your parking lot, isn't that true?
that's right,
And these lights are here, 6 of them indicated with the L's?
that's right,
Okay. And these lights are on late at night?
well, they're on, as the store's closing,
They're on, say, past 11 p.m. On a day that you're open?
they're on past 10 o'clock, yes,
And the sidewalk lights down here, they were not working, were they?
I have no idea,
Is your testimony today that you are unaware as to whether the sidewalk lights were working or not?
that's my testimony.
Now, on June 6th, Mr. Simon, you were not working that night, were you?
No,
A moment to move this, Your Honor. Mr. Simon, as I said, you were not present at Scooters the night of June 6th, were you?
no, I wasn't,
You had over 100 customers that night, isn't that true?
throughout the day, I had over 100 customers.
At one point in the evening, there were approximately 100 patrons at Scooters, isn't that true?
I wasn't there, so I couldn't tell you.
And you had only one employee working that night, isn't that right?
That's correct,
Her name was Christy Folatanova,
that's right,
and Christy was a foreign exchange student.
yes,
And English was not Christy's primary language, isn't that right?
no,
And Russian was her primary language.
that's right,
Christy was a minor at the time.
I don't know what you mean by that,
She was under the age of 18, correct?
that's right,
She was 17,
that's right.
and you left her there all alone with those customers, isn't that true?
I didn't leave her there all alone, she's a pretty tough girl.
And there was nobody else, no other employee working at the time the plaintiff was assaulted that evening, besides Christy Folatanova, isn't that right?
She was the only employee there.
No further questions.
So, the first point, we're still asking a lot of conclusory questions, a lot of motivation questions.
Yeah.
So questions like, you know, you wanted it to increase business, things like that, take those out. You just want to go after the facts of each thing. So, you know, and you want to you started right off with the no fences.
Yeah.
Build up to that. You're the owner of the property.
Okay.
You're the owner of Scooter's Ice Cream Parlor. You're the sole owner of Scooter's Ice Cream Parlor. And so, what do we have? It's the invitation, so it's primarily the ad. But yeah, so build up first. You're the owner. You're the person in charge, and so you said that your store closes at 10 o'clock, but you don't have any fences. And start with the juxtaposition. You say that your store closes at 10 o'clock. Is your position that people are not allowed there after 10 o'clock? You're saying that people aren't allowed to be on your property after 10 o'clock, right? All right, but you have no fences on your property to keep people off, right? Right. You don't have any signs that say that there's no trespassing allowed, right? Right. And then say, now you've done promotions, and you don't have to do all the old promotions, but you had promotions going on in June of 2015, right? One of those promotions related to this game called Chase 'Em. You're a gamer. You're familiar with this game. You know that it puts a virtual location on a real world spot. And one of those places was right outside of your property. And then say, now I'm handing you an ad. This is an ad that you had on display on June 6, 2015, right? Right. And this ad says that Scooters is a Chase place, right? Right. And then you do your thing. There's no 10 o'clock, there's no trespassing, there's none of these things. So, the lighting is good. The camera part, so one of the things you'll notice is that anytime I didn't give you relatively a yes or no, it's to highlight that was probably a question you may want to rework.
Yeah.
So some of it would have like, well, the camera would not see somebody here.
Yeah.
You don't need that part, because your whole idea is that the camera's point in this direction. Good. Plaintiff was standing here, right?
Yeah. So the
And
point's
then-
made.
And then the point's been made. Let's see. And then the last part is good up into you try to characterize the very last question. Don't characterize the very last
Which
question.
one's that?
That's the so she
So
was
you left her there all
you
alone?
just left her there all alone so
Yeah.
you could be brutally attacked. That I'm already prepped to fight you, right? So don't give me an opportunity to throw it in. So what you ask after that is what you want to be asking from the very beginning, which is she was the only employee working on that night. Because the characterization you want to add in is the thing you shouldn't be doing.
Yeah.
Get essentially the cold hard facts, but you organize them in such a way that everybody gets what the characterization you want from it to be.
Yeah.
All right.